My food literally just got here. It's gonna get cold.
Losing your buzz.
Yeah,
The
you
true,
want to talk? All right, so executive lunch. Here it is, right
yeah,
here. I mean,
true executive lunch here.
it's 3:30. It's the first food I've eaten all day, and let's rock.
Coming to you live via satellite. Um,
I've officially named this location not to be named as my official mobile office.
love it. Love it. All right.
Um,
Well,
and
what's
it's getting kind of bad because people are starting to know who I am now. I'm like, dang it.
you're becoming irregular.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I, I,
we'll make this
I
week quick.
yeah, I have no topics planned. So tell me what you're doing right now. Let's start with that.
Quarterly meetup. Our company meets every quarter just to talk about previous quarter goals, things moving forward. So this is the big one coming up for 2025 and
Like,
refocusing on
hey,
commercial as an agency. So
hold on. This is going to be a terrible joke that zero people will get. Um, but you know who Fred Sanford is? San
yeah, it's the
Renaissance.
big one.
The big one. This is the big one. This is
I'm
the big one.
coming. I'm coming. What's his wife's name? What does he say?
Oh, geez, I can't remember
Gloria?
that. That
Uh,
could be.
it's the big one.
Yeah,
It's
Lamont's son.
yeah, this is our big meeting for the year. A lot of changes. We're kind of restructuring, refocusing on commercial. So you were numero uno before, but now you're one of probably three versus an endless amount of personal lines, home and auto type referral partners.
Oh, just as a matter of like not adding on to that.
Yeah, so you and like two other lenders are it, man. You guys are in the band. That's it.
Oh, like so I mean, they're not going to cut off new business, but they're basically
No,
saying
yeah,
don't,
I'm not
yeah.
going after it. My focus personally is commercial and has been for a while. So
But that's a good thing to talk about because we're in 2025. Lots of people are making business plans. Lots of people on the lending side are talking, where do you get your referrals from? And I didn't watch the video, but this guy that does a pretty good podcast, he's like, this is why realtor business is going to dry up in 2025 and beyond. And, lots of different projections, all sorts of different things. And yeah, it's pretty interesting because what you have built your business on doesn't mean shit. Actually,
nope.
let's talk about this guy right here, my cell phone. I have a client that thought I was going to get a loan with, who is a TikTok guy. Lots and lots of followers, makes money on TikTok, and as soon as Sunday, he might be unemployed.
Really? Oh yeah, that's right. And our TikTok following will die as quickly as it started. All
Yeah,
19 people.
which is interesting. But I don't
It'll
know.
be
I think
temporary.
it'll be a temporary thing, but it would be okay if it goes away because then there's too many things. It spreads out everything. Like, oh, I just got a CNN alert not too long ago. It's like 170 million people going to be without their main thing that they love so much, TikTok. And the truth of the matter is it really 170 people or is it like,
Yeah.
that divided by two because they all got two different accounts and this and that and the bots and all that. Like it just kind of moved. So what if we just had a couple different things and we did it well? That's kind of like business as well, though, right? And they're talking about business planning is way too many people are focused on the wrong things and they forget to focus on a couple small things. And that's what I do with my coaching is like, what is your niche? What do you do? And can you do it well? You
Yeah.
can't do it well if you're doing a bunch of new stuff all the time for a week and then you don't back it up.
Exactly. I mean, you're right. I mean, that's my goal going into 2025 is trying to transition in that focus. My focus mentally has always been trying to chase commercial. And we've talked about this before, you being kind of my only lender and 100% focus on home insurance goes towards you and marketing efforts. Like you're it and helping you grow and watching and hoping you grow. And then I can do all the commercial stuff that's going to make me the real money. And then me and you can have fun, you know?
Well, same thing here, right? As I grow, there's a lot of opportunities and I'm growing as we speak. I'm in negotiations to bring on partners and, loan
You
officers
getting
and different
taller?
things. I'm not getting taller.
Oh, okay.
Although, as a fun joke the other day at our house, I made my wife measure me and mark something on
Did
the
you mark
door on the
it?
doorway. Yeah.
The
And I
next time
said,
you
don't,
have the hair fluffed a little bit.
yeah. Well, I said, don't be like one of those short nurses that always goes like this and but always measures me down. Like that's not fair. I don't want to be at the fingertip where you're pointing down just because you can't reach up.
Yeah, exactly. No, but yeah, it should be I know your focus has kind of transitioned obviously as the 24 ended and 25 is starting. Obviously anybody who watches this will start to see that and we'll see the transition for me as well and our topics and everything and focusing more on how you run a business from your point of view and how
I
I
saw,
try
but
to run a
this,
business from my point of view in the future. So
well, we're in a unique spot now. We're not brand new. We're not necessarily salespeople either. We're growing and we have to become more like kind of scoot into the executive level, but can't forget we have to produce.
what's the old school quote? Not old school, Wedding Crashers. After the opening montage, he's like, "We're not that young though."
Are we? Like,
Yeah, are
are we?
we? We're just a
Yeah.
couple of young kids. He's like, "Are we though?" You know,
Well,
the Gulls transition, which I think is good.
it's a fun thing, and just like when we talked to Susie a couple weeks ago, she's like, "I've been in this business for 20 years, and I started here, and here I am now." And everybody goes through different swings, and but it's really important too that like a lot of the swings that I've been going through over the last year or so have brought me all the way back to the beginning and the lessons I learned then. Like sometimes I feel like I didn't learn those original, OG lessons until just now, 15 years in.
Right. Yeah, I
You're
mean,
like,
I'm gonna go through the
oh,
I'm gonna go through all the pains again, although I've done commercial my entire career, the focus is now commercial, it's essentially starting over because the focus is on the other half of insurance versus what I've been doing the past 4 or 5 years.
it's starting over for education because like
Mhm.
I'm here with some people at lunch. I stepped away to so we could stick to our schedule, which is a part of growing is like you
We're
can't skip things that you've written in the calendar.
and we're committed
And
to the audience.
yeah, well, whatever. I'm right. Honestly, right now, zero people could ever watch this, but I'm committed to my schedule, and that is a
Mhm.
huge progression for me. But the people I'm here with have been talking about insurance and different things, and it's growing, it's learning, but there's so many things that change all the time, and going from one focus to another focus, or shifting slowly but surely to another focus, that's a lot of work that people don't understand. Just to have a conversation with you,
Yeah.
Mr. Mrs. Consumer, that may not even like what I have to say, but you don't understand what value I just brought you by giving you the information because of what is out online. And TikTok is whether TikTok gets canceled or not, we'll see. But it's provided a lot of bad information, a lot of misconceptions that were unnecessary.
Yeah. Do you speaking of TikTok, do you want to talk about our controversial post we put up on our TikTok
Yeah,
the other day,
yeah.
and a lot of political comments about me
We we
not necessarily taking the State Farm side,
oh,
but
in my quick analysis of like 20 seconds that I gave to it, um, no one said anything about you or me. Everyone just immediately went and was like, "Yeah, f these guys."
yeah, I mean, I've been listening to the typical bro podcasts. Some of the guys that live in California are like, I was with State Farm for 20 plus years. It's like this is not a friendship. This is a business. So if they don't
Well,
want you, they don't have to take you.
as advisors, what's the first thing that I hear when I hear that? Is wow, you let them automatically increase your premiums for 20 years straight without checking them and keeping them honest?
Yeah. And we can, so all the news about the rates and stuff, we can talk about that a little bit more in depth maybe next week when
And do you know how many people I've talked to about like just meaningless claims? I had an insurance guy cold call me the other day, and it was like he's like, "Oh, well, we can do this, this, and this in some areas. You know how it is." I'm like, "Yeah, I know how it is in Dallas. No one wants to do insurance because every $30,000 millionaire that has a bunch of credit card debt has to make an insurance claim. Otherwise, they're not going to get that leak to stop because they don't have any more money and they don't have any more room on their credit limit."
yeah. It's like, it's not my first day here, buddy.
Yeah, so like I understand it's bad, but what's bad? Is the situation bad, or is the way that we're educating people about something that's brand new to them, which is what's a deductible? Something like that. Like we don't talk about that. We don't tell people in school, so you don't learn that, well, that's going to cost $1,000, but if I just did it on my own, I'd go to Home Depot and I'd be done in an hour for 20 bucks. Just
Hmm.
do that. But they don't talk about that, so everyone just panics. And so yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of information that goes into everything that we do. And it's really important for people to understand that, because we've been in this business for so long now, and we're fighting against people who are brand new, who are just trying to make a check for themselves. You have to be able to differentiate the conversation between someone who's chasing you to make a commission off of you and someone who actually just gave you information that you might need to sit on for a second.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
So,
I
with
got
that in
no
mind,
response other than you're right.
with that in mind, with your commercial talks, your everything that you guys got going on down there with your let's call it a convention or whatever. But uh what's your new hot topic of the day? What company needs to be talked about in the comments?
Ooh, Allstate,
Oh, that's good enough.
state of Texas, the attorney general from the state of Texas just filed a massive lawsuit against Allstate for stealing and selling drivers' personal information without consent and using it to affect insurance rates without
Wow.
driver consent.
Well,
Um,
I remember
they
when I first signed
were,
up with State Farm, they gave me one of those little things I had to put in my dashboard and like
Mhm.
link to my phone. And I was like, immediately take me off of this policy. I do not want them following me around.
So that's fine. I participated in those. That's great. But Allstate was selling that information as well as purchasing information from third-party vendors that clients were not
Obviously,
consenting to for driving
obviously.
habits, which impacted insurance rates. So there's a massive lawsuit that was filed this week.
But by me accepting that to put on my thing and connect to my phone that can follow my every move, I've basically just allowed them to sell that. I gave that to them to sell.
If you read those, they actually don't sell them. So that's why Allstate's being sued.
Oh, because but who reads the 100 pages?
Exactly, which is goes back to, oh, you didn't have fire insurance, you didn't read your policy out
But that's
west.
real. Okay. Now, we're never going to change the system, but
No, never.
is there any way that we could make 100 pages like to a little bit of a synopsis for us to understand what we're signing? Because a lot of times the salespeople don't understand what they're telling you to sign either. Like every time you hit accept cookies on your screen, you're basically giving permission for them to sell the data that they're collecting behind the scenes.
I say reject all now.
I do too, but think about it. You just to get it off the screen. Because if you don't
Yeah.
accept it, sometimes you get pulled off the website and you don't get the information you need. So we're in a
Well,
real
it's
sticky
a non
spot.
it's a non-starter, right? Because really everything you do in terms of big purchases, like when we bought our house and you are a lender, I mean, I didn't sign any paperwork, but my wife signed. I mean, it was a stack this thick of redundant paperwork that
Redundant is a good word.
we didn't read. I trusted you. I trusted the title company. You know, we weren't
Um,
getting screwed
but
over.
but in a sense, I have to trust all the attorneys and
Hmm.
lawmakers that have put that together.
And
And I don't trust
unfortunately,
lawmakers.
legal verbiage is super, super specific, so it has to be lengthy. So
Well, and the
it's a
first time
double-edged
they
sword.
but what happens is with the redundancy is the first time it says it, but it didn't say it enough. So they don't
Hmm.
take that one away, they leave that one, and then they add another
Yeah.
stack.
A lot of heretofore, so forth language,
Yeah. When I was working
language in
in
there.
I used to work in the state house in Texas, and like we were working on bills and learning about the whole process and everything. And it's like, here's a bill, and it's like a couple things and a comment, comma, and like right here too, therefore, like you're just saying, and you're like, no one talks like that. Why do we have to write that down like that? And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just the legal world is different. And I'm not a lawyer. You're not a lawyer. We can't advise legality. And it really sucks because if you truly had the full representation that the system is asking you to do, you'd be thousands of dollars in debt before you even signed the document.
Yep. Which
All
is
right.
where we won't dive too deep into it, but it's where AI is going to help
Well,
consumers,
look.
I think.
Oh
But
no, I do not think.
but anyway, I want to transition to the last topic. I want to give you the final word because I love doing that. Obviously,
Especially
I saw some
final word.
we saw some, microscopic positive news in the rate market. Yes or
Oh,
no?
yes.
Okay. Touch on that and we'll wrap it up.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up my app here and show you. Well, talk about it. You can't see what I'm doing on my phone, but so the positive news, but the average rate on for a conventional is 7.08 as I talk to you. So
But what
if I
was
go,
it on Monday?
okay, I can do that. What day is it right now? What day would a Monday been? The 13th?
13th, yeah.
I can tell you this. It was 7.26. So it's come down a whole quarter,
Yeah.
which is good
Yeah.
because the thing that people don't understand is rates and cost of those rates. So
Mm.
the things that change daily, and we could actually do like a minute segment on this every day for the rest of our podcast and just educational lives, and people will still not understand because of how complicated it can be. So the bond market trades. The 10-year treasury is the thing that's most closely tied to mortgage loans. The federal funds rate is not tied to mortgage loans. That's the thing that hits the news every time the Fed has lowered interest rates, right? During COVID, it was zero. That is a federal funds rate. But even during COVID, 2, 3% interest rates, it was still not zero. I got a
Right.
phone call from the when I was in the call centers, like, let me get one of those 0% mortgages, dog.
Yeah.
That's not
Let
that's
me
not
get
what
that
that
free
is.
phone. Let me get that free cell plan.
That's no, that's the federal funds rate. So they get to, that's different. So cost every day goes up and down. So a 7.00% rate 2 days ago could have cost $2,000. Today, a 7.00% rate could cost $500,
Mhm.
$40. It goes up and down like that. So every time the rate changes, like in this case, this week we basically changed by about a quarter. Of course, there's a little tiny tick, just barely up here today, but because why would you finish out a week strong, in our economy? Why is it there? Why would you ever do something like that? But what happens is, um, so the rate changed by a quarter, but the cost changed by thousands and thousands of dollars. So
Mhm.
costs go like this, and then rates kind of follow. So if you can see my app, let me zoom in. Oh,
Somewhat,
can I
yeah.
zoom in? I can kind of zoom in. Monday, January 13th. You're following this part right here. See, it went
Yeah.
up and then it came
Yeah.
down. And then at the end of the day, it's like, fuck you. We're gonna go back up just a tiny bit. And so that's
Clip
kind of where we're
that.
at.
Clip that. We're gonna clip that. That's gonna
Yeah.
be
Um, so what we're waiting for is well, Monday. Monday is Trump taking office. Monday kind of will,
allegedly.
yeah, we'll see,
I
right?
mean,
Well, who
it's
knows?
just, no matter what side you're on, allegedly something's gonna
But
happen on Monday.
well, they've already moved the inauguration indoors, due
I
to
think that's
weather.
weather-wise, yeah.
Yeah. So who knows, right? But anyway, so Trump takes office. Everything that the last 4 years has created, right? Just this whole whatever the environment is, and then there's a new environment coming this way, and then it's the Sharks and the Jets, West Side Story, and the
Hmm.
markets are like, I don't know. But then all of a sudden, Trump is in. The markets say, okay, well, forget about anything we've said. Let's look at the new stuff. Here's what we've got. What are we gonna what are we gonna analyze and guess and estimate off of the new stuff? All right, great. Boom. So
It
if we see, huh?
it could also already have corrected for what they predict, right? It
Everything,
could.
no,
Yeah,
not could. It does.
it did. Okay.
Everything always happens early. So
Right.
this little 0.25 bump positive that we've gotten is probably just leaning into inauguration day. Then everyone, the markets, not everyone, right? The market is no one person or multiple people. It's a big old thing. but
Right.
they're going to be like, what executive orders is he going to sign on Monday, on Tuesday for the first 100 days, and then based on all that kind of stuff, because Congress isn't going to get shit done in 1, 2, 3 months. It's going to take some time. They're going to do a lot of bantering back and forth, and we're going to listen to the news, and everyone's going to take their side and draw that line in the sand. Um, shout out Travis, what's his name? Shit. History. Travis, William Travis. Shout out William Travis. He was the first one to draw the line in the sand, right? With his sword saying Alamo, right? Remember the
I
Alamo?
don't know that one.
He drew his line in the sand at the Alamo and said, "You gonna stay? Or you gonna go?" And everyone's like, "Hell yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
stay." And then they should
Yeah.
have
They
definitely gotten
all
out of there.
they all died.
They should have gotten out of there. But it's like politics. What if you just didn't draw your line in the sand? What if we worked it out a little bit? Um, so they're gonna do that, and then nothing will really happen. So it's all gonna be based on what Trump's actions are, and then the market's gonna decide, do I like it or not like it? And then we might see some movement in rates. The market is just anxious to do something, and everybody wants it to come down. If it comes down, people make money. So right now, while it's like kind of not doing anything, you should buy as much as you can. Right? If you're into Bitcoin, buy all your Bitcoin. If you're into real estate, buy real estate while you can get a good aggressive purchase price from a seller. Because as the markets change, those purchase prices aren't going to be as negotiable like the rates are, right? Rates are technically negotiable because you could refinance at any time, but you
Mhm.
can't rebuy the purchase price that you got it for. And so this is a dip. So if you believe in the markets, do you buy the dip? Well, over the last year or so has been buying the dip.
Yeah.
And then don't worry, like I have a client that calls me all the time. I just saw this and this and this. I think my appraisal is now lower than what I bought it for. And it's like, hang tight, buddy, because just like the people that thought that it was gonna appraise to the moon 3 years ago, it didn't do that. So you just have to hang in there and wait it out. Real estate is a long game, over and over and over and over again. The right people that I like to follow say, don't wait to buy real estate, buy real estate and then wait. And if you're
Yeah.
being impatient, you're in the wrong game. Go trade Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, like we've talked about, it's definitely a long game. Nobody bought a house and immediately became a millionaire. Boomers are boomers.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
bought in the 70s, not yesterday.
Maybe one day we'll talk on a recording for fun, but right now it's like, no, we're trying to get information out because we have to for work. I don't want to
Yeah.
do anything for work. I just want to do things.
Exactly. But all right, well, I mean that's a good update. Obviously things will change. I think next week we'll what everything you said, you might be like, "Oh, fuck you, we're gonna go up on the rates. It might have just plummeted. Um
It's highly possible that the market reacts really positively to Trump taking office and just having a transition of thoughts. Because the last 4 years have been highly inflationary. It doesn't mean that Trump's not going to cause inflation. It doesn't mean that he might not cause more debt, this, that, and the other. He could help those things, but we truly don't know until it plays out. He could
right.
have the best ideas in the world, and then everybody else checks him on it, and it doesn't happen. So the market speculates. Don't get caught speculating. It's a long-term game. You're not even playing a 4-year game when you buy real estate. You're playing more than that. So you can't base everything on Biden's presidency. You can't base anything on Trump's presidency. You have to combine them together and say, over these 8 years, whoa, I made money. Because if you take 8 years ago today over a Trump and a Biden's presidency, would you like that purchase price? Would you take that deal?
Exactly.
I I hypothesize that over the next 4 years, a Biden and then a Trump presidency, pre-Biden presidency, you might like those purchase prices, even during those crazy ass times, and
Mhm.
then so forth and so forth. So politics is politics, but the markets are the markets, and they are different.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think those are very valid points, sir.
Yes.
You can put a pin in it. I mean, if you just go next week once you finish that drink. I didn't bring my drink
Well,
in here with me, so that's a problem.
uh,
Uh,
well, ne next week, I'll be in Austin and you'll be in Fort Worth.
yeah, So we'll just turn the tables, if you will. We'll do that with it. But
But
no, it's a great episode.
um, let's practice sales. Give somebody a call to action. How can you help somebody this week as a consumer?
If you're unhappy with your rates, just have a conversation. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't cost anything, right? You're not a lawyer.
This doesn't cost anything. Because I deal with clients who are like, I'm upset it went up $15 a month. And then I've got a client that calls and is like, hey, it went up 6 grand. So your problem is only a bad problem to you. So just remember that.
And if it's a bad problem to you, ask some questions.
Exactly. You don't know what
Don't
you don't
just
know.
don't just sit there and wear it for no reason.
Or go
And
somewhere else because somebody didn't proactively tell you. Just ask the question. I'll
yeah,
answer it.
my big call to action this week would be if you have a pre-approval or if you're a realtor with a client that has a pre-approval, don't take that as fact.
Hmm.
Just because rate.com or rocketmortgage.com has a pre-approval letter, is that the best for you, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor? Is that the best for you, Mr. and Mrs. Consumer? Probably not. Let's keep people honest. Call somebody like me, and I have the lowest overhead in the game. There's no one lower than me right now. I'm literally the only person in my company at this very moment. So I control my overhead. You can't talk to a person from rate.com that can control their overhead.
Right.
So they're pricing things in for thousands of people and charging you for it. Maybe, maybe not. Find out. Call me. Let me see what they got. I'll show you what I got. And then you can go with them at the end of the day. But I bet it'll go with me if you give me a chance to show you how to use the system to your advantage.
Exactly. You're not wrong. You're making great points today. We gotta get margaritas in you more often.
Well, this is what
Anyway,
this is the definition of executive
this
lunch.
is an executive lunch.
I am working.
Welcome to the definition of what our podcast is called.
I'm working.
Um, Great chat. Enjoy your evening. Stay safe. Stay away from the Red
Uh,
Bull.
Let me know if you talk to any of our people down there.
I'm gonna try. I won't name any names, but if something weird happens, I'll definitely let you know.
All right. Peace.
Peace.